Today on the Spot, we'll make an appointment with a prehistoric dentist, find out who rules the animal kingdom, and dig up some pretty mind-blowing facts about your modern-day smartphone. All this and more coming up now on the Spot. This is the world we live in. How well do you know it? Well, we're about to find out. This is On the Spot. Those were the days. They were? Really? Well, let's find out with a round of Now and Then. We're going to start way back at a time when we all lived in caves and all grown-ups were named Wilma and Fred. But seriously, which nutritional fad today tries to mimic the diet of our hunter-gatherer ancestors? The raw food diet, the paleo diet, or the macrobiotic diet? Get your spear out. It's the paleo diet, named after the foods some people believe our Paleolithic ancestors ate. Advocates of the diet say we'll be healthier if we eat like our ancestors. Problem is, we don't exactly know what they ate. And some of the foods around today just weren't around back then, like this kind of corn. And these apples, totally modern, not paleo at all. And there's no concrete evidence that hunter-gatherers were any healthier than we are today. But then again, we have doctors and dentists, so we get looked after a lot better. Or do we? True or false? There were dentists in the Stone Age, too. While there was no health insurance or mint floss, there were dentists back then. It's true. Excavations in Pakistan have revealed 9,000-year-old teeth that have been expertly drilled to hollow out cavities. And we also know they did not have Novocaine back then. Ouch! Smile. Nice teeth. True or false? Gold and silver caps are a modern addition to teeth. False. Archaeologists have discovered 2,500-year-old human skulls in Mesoamerica with teeth adorned with gems. And hey, if you ask me, those gems probably cost about as much as my orthodontist bills. And they look a lot better than braces, too. Most of us would probably agree that we're better off now than we were then. But what about animals? The footprint of the global human population is large and has left some big impressions on the planet. How many bison roamed the North American plains before 1492? 6 million, 60 million, or 600 million? There were around 60 million bison in North America before the Europeans settled the continent. How many bison were in North America in 1890? 0, 750, 75,000, or 750,000? 750. That's it. Overhunting by European settlers decimated the once thriving population. But thanks to an aggressive recovery plan, there are over 500,000 bison in North America today, although over 97% of them are on private land and not considered wild. I like my giants gentle, and when it comes to big animals, moose are pretty sweet. So, how many moose live on the island of Newfoundland today? 0, 1,000, 10,000, or 100,000? Over 100,000 moose live on this Canadian island today. That's a lot. Careful driving in that thick fog. Now let's find out. How many moose lived on the island of Newfoundland in 1850? 0, 1,000, 10,000, or 100,000? Did you think we'd say 1 million? Yeah, me too. And I narrate this show. Nope, there were 0. Moose aren't native to the island at all. They're not about to swim from the mainland across the frigid waters to get there. Not when they can wait for a ride. Hey, Uber. In 1897, 2 moose were brought over. And in 1904, 4 more. Great idea, Canadians. That was sarcasm, by the way. From these 6 moose, I really want to say meese, but whatever, arose an overpopulation of 100,000 with no natural predators. Well, there are these predators, cars, driven by over 500,000 people that live on Newfoundland now. But that wasn't always the case. How many people lived on Newfoundland when the Norse arrived 2,000 years ago? 0, 100, 1,000, or 10,000? 0. Well, as far as we can tell, the island was settled by the Paleo-Eskimo around 4,000 years ago. But they either left or died off. Then the Vikings came and left. Then the Beothuk people from the mainland came and stayed. And then the Europeans arrived in 1497. And in 1583, it was claimed for Queen Elizabeth I as England's first overseas colony. Still, no moose or meese. Time to check your animal knowledge in this round of Identify This Animal. Ready? Here we go. Identify this animal. It's a jumping spider. The peacock jumping spider, to be exact. And they're one of the coolest, most colorful little insects on the planet. Why is it called the peacock? Well, the male peacock spider has a pair of brightly colored abdominal flaps that he can fold out for a shiny fan dance. Just like a peacock does. They use these flaps as a signal for females to check them out. So males of all species have to bring everything they've got to attract the ladies. All right, gents, time to boogie. Identify this animal. Wait, I don't see an animal there. Oh, there it is. That's a turnip-tailed gecko. Okay, so the name's not that creative, but that doesn't matter. What does matter is that they're really cool. And did I mention they're nocturnal? Yes, the turnip-tailed gecko is nocturnal. And nocturnal geckos have a superpower that most animals don't have. They're able to see color at night, whereas most animals can barely see black and white. Identify this animal. It's a porcupine. Porcupines are the cactus of the animal world. They have large spikes called quills that grow from their skin that can sometimes be up to a foot long. Porcupines typically have about 30,000 quills. Quills are really long hairs armored with this stuff called keratin. That's the same protein that makes up fingernails, claws, and scales. Identify this animal. It's a pelican. So the pelican uses that pouch as a place to store food. Just kidding. Seems perfectly reasonable, but it doesn't actually use it for that. Instead, it floats around on the surface looking down into the water. When it spots a fish, it dips its beak in and uses that huge bag of skin as a net to catch them. That's because if it dove in head first, that bag would catch on the water and tear. And nobody wants a torn bag. Identify this animal. It's an electric eel. Electric eels have electrocytes that are specialized electricity-producing cells. Each one can only produce a tiny voltage, but they're linked to each other in series. That means that their effect multiplies and create close to 600 volts with enough amps to stun or even kill a human. It would be a shock to the system, like this speed round on camouflaged animals. Ready, set, go. Identify this animal. It's a katydid. Katydids love to eat the leaves of deciduous trees and evolved to look like leaves. Identify this animal. It's a crab spider. Some crab spiders evolved to look like the insides of the flowers they hang out on. Identify this animal. It's a walking stick. Many stick insects look so much like the trees they live around that it can be nearly impossible to tell one from the other. Identify this animal. It's an owl butterfly. Its markings look like the eyes of the predatory owl. But is an owl the primary predator of the owl butterfly? No, but lizards that like to munch on the butterflies are terrified of being eaten by owls, so they mostly steer clear. Identify this animal. That's a chameleon. The outer layers of a chameleon's skin are transparent. It's the living cells underneath the transparent layers that are doing all the color changing. Time's up. But you can slow down and identify this animal. It's a toucan. Toucans love fruit. Their colorful beak is evolved to eat it as efficiently as possible. Scientists have discovered that those beaks are also used as giant radiators to keep the toucan cool. Heat exits through the beak and radiates away, which has the amazing benefit of conserving water for the toucan. Its colorful beak and love of cereal makes it one of the coolest birds around. How about we take a gander at some surprising stats? Are you planning on going somewhere for a vacation? Before you go, answer me this. What percentage of pilots have admitted to falling asleep while flying? 5%, 37%, or 43%? It can't be that many, right? Well, actually 43% of pilots have admitted to falling asleep at their controls at least once during their career. Scarier still is that 33% of them reported waking up to find their co-pilots asleep as well. Good thing we at least have autopilots. Computers really are lifesavers. Meet the ENIAC, the world's first electronic general-purpose computer. Let's find out more about this mega machine with a few questions. How many additions could the ENIAC perform in 1 second? 500, 5,000, or 50,000? Revealed back in 1946, this colossal computer could perform 5,000 additions in 1 second. Not really lightning speed compared to today's hardware, but it was a whole lot faster than adding that many numbers with a calculator. How much faster is the modern-day smartphone compared to the ENIAC? 530 times faster, 1,290 times faster, or 12,960 times faster? That little baby in your pocket is 12,960 times faster than the first general-purpose computer. It's also 40,000 times smaller, uses 400,000 times less power, and costs 17,000 times less to make than the ENIAC. So the next time you get frustrated about your slow connection, try to appreciate the power in the palm of your hand. Nowadays, it's hard to fathom life without the technology we have. Have you ever forgotten your phone at home? I have, and felt pretty lost without it. But I don't think I'm the only one. How many people around the world own a smartphone? 6 million, 660 million, or 2.6 billion? Today, there are 2.6 billion smartphone users around the globe. And by 2020, it's estimated that there will be 6.1 billion in circulation. With that, smartphones will finally overtake the number of traditional phone lines. It seems like every day a new, better phone comes onto the market. What's changed? Only everything, they always say. Yet every time a new one is released, there's a long line of eager buyers camping out, waiting to get their hands on the next generation of handheld tech. How long does the average person wait in line throughout his or her lifetime? 1 year, 2 years, or 5 years? Patience is indeed a virtue. The average person spends 5 years of their life waiting in lines. Isn't that cute? Get it? Cute. Like queuing your standing queue, right? Okay, where's all my British viewers at? Anyway, that new iPhone doesn't seem so great now, does it? While we're on the subject of waiting around, how long does the average American spend sitting in traffic per year? 24 hours, 38 hours, or 46 hours? Each year, commuters can spend an average of 38 hours in traffic. The study on annual mobility was done by Texas A&M researchers, who also found that this number can grow to more than 60 hours per year in cities like Washington, D.C. and Los Angeles. I could vouch for that. How long does the average husband spend waiting for his wife to finish doing their hair? 1,400 hours, 10,000 hours, or 14,000 hours? Throughout a lifetime, women devote about 14,000 hours to their hair. That's just about 1.5 years brushing, washing, drying, straightening, curling, cutting, moussing, spraying, teasing. Anyway, you get the idea. Excuse me. Let's talk about something macho. How many extra miles per year does the average person drive while refusing to ask for directions? 56 miles, 137 miles, or 276 miles? Who's lost? I'm not lost, you're lost. Hey, look, it's okay, guys. We stand together on this one. Annually, we drive an extra 276 miles pretending, or at least thinking, we're not lost. Over the course of a lifetime, these adventures could add up to thousands of dollars in gas money. You can call it expensive pride. I call it exploring. As we wrap up today's adventure, let's head back to see if you can identify one more animal. Identify this animal. Here's the animal again. Think you know what it is? It's a cassowary. These flightless, colorful birds that dwell mostly in the forests of New Guinea and parts of Australia may look fun and festive, but you might want to keep your distance and be very wary of the cassowary. This is the most dangerous bird in the world. The southern cassowary, the largest of the 3 species, is one big bird. Nearly 6 feet tall and weighing a respectable 120 to 160 pounds. What makes the cassowary so dangerous are these 4-inch dagger-like claws at the end of each inner toe. If a predator dares threaten it, ouch! And that little horn-like helmet atop its head? That's called a casque. It's made of a sponge-like substance that's covered with a layer of keratin, a protein much like your fingernail. The casque provides protection and defense in a fight or flight, or non-flight situation. Stay sharp because you never know when you'll be on the spot.